Hey, my name is Connor Noyes from Aurora Bushcraft and Survival. This is Wyatt, and we are going to be here today talking to you about building our Bushcraft Pulk. So this is her, our Bushcraft Pulk. She weighs about 25 pounds, 7 feet tall, 2 feet wide. She's pretty cute. Materials that we used: 1/2 inch PVC pipe, 1/8 of an inch thick HDPE plastic that was bought in a 4 foot by 8 foot sheet, 8 foot long 2x6s. You'll need about 3 of them, a bunch of bolts, a few strips of oak wood. We're gonna need 2 eye bolts, about 100 number 6 1 by 1 1/4 screws, flathead, probably about 20 ceiling hooks, 2 double chain swivels, and about 50 feet of 550 paracord. So you're gonna need 2 templates. The first template is gonna give the HDPE plastic its curve. So you'll put this on your 2 foot wide piece of plastic, transcribe, and then cut it with a jigsaw. The second template that you're going to need is going to be for the rise in the wood. So that just sits on this glued up 2x6 wood, and then from there I'll cut this out on the bandsaw. Now to prepare the wood, what you have to do, if you don't know a lot about woodworking, to get the wood to glue together nicely, you have to joint it. And what the jointer does is make the edges of the wood 90 degrees to each other, so that when you glue 2 together, it's nice, flat, and perfectly square. If you don't joint the wood beforehand, most of this plywood or most of this lumber comes with the edges rounded, and you never know what you're going to get. There can always be a little bit of warp and twist in the wood, especially like we get our stuff from the lumber yard and it sits outside, so the moisture can cause a little bit of twist and warping in the wood. Which it kind of gives it its final twist and warp. It can twist and warp a little bit more after use in the outdoors and weathering, but after we joint this and we put it through the thickness blender to square it all up, then it should be good for a long time. I put it through the thickness planer to square it off again, so that this is nice and flat. It's not uneven, there's no glue sticking out, it's a really, really tidy finish. So the kerfs are cut roughly a 1/4 inch apart. And when I say roughly, I mean roughly. I just took a ruler and sort of half measured it out, went down, took it to the table saw, ran it over. I tried to maintain an angle so that it was vertical all the way across, but when you're eyeballing it, well, you're eyeballing it. So a problem that we ran into is when we were trying to fill the kerfs with wood, we found that there was a lot of cracking. This was done after the oak strips were put on, so it wasn't such a big deal. Another issue we ran into was when we were running screws through the HDPE into the pine rails, we were noticing there was a lot of cracking going on through the kerfs. So we had to use quite a short screw initially, just to kind of tack the plastic on first, and then from there, once we had the oak reinforcement on the sides, then we could really run bigger screws in to hold everything together. But that was a really big challenge for us. Next time with the kerfs, I'm going to cut them a little bit farther apart. It's not going to give us as nice a curve all the way through, but it is going to offer us more material to put screws into, and it's also going to offer us a lot more structural integrity in the whole sled. Now, speaking of structural integrity, another issue is we started the kerfs here. Now if you'll notice, this is where the rise starts. Next time what we're going to do is we're going to start the kerfs up a little bit higher, and what that's going to do is give us more support in this joint right here, because if you get too much weight higher up on the sled, what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of stress on this joint. We don't want that. Something that we also could have done to avoid that is potentially bringing this strip down a little bit farther and then putting another bolt in right here. Now we experience cracking on both sides equally, right where that kerf starts, where the rise also starts. So to fix that, what I did is I filled it with wood glue, and then I used a pulley system with the paracord to pull it all back together. The paracord really doesn't get in the way. What we're trying to achieve is something that's going to turn nicely in the snow. It's going to have a lot of good surface area on it to handle all of our equipment. It's going to be used mostly for shorter trips into the bush, for running our courses, and also for doing our kind of adventure stuff. It does weigh a lot, so it's probably not great for long expeditions. You're going to burn a lot more calories and energy trying to pull this through the woods. But for what it is, as a gear hauler, I think it's awesome. We went for more of a canoe style shape, so kind of an Accio shape. I didn't want to go with a traditional toboggan sled shape, mostly because it doesn't have these side rails on it. So what that's going to mean is that when you turn the sled in deep snow, it's going to undercut the snow quite a bit. That's going to offer a lot of drag. So if you notice right here, we have a curve on the tip of the HDPE. How we managed to get the curve is by using a heat gun. And we put a couple blocks of wood on here, clamped it, and then heated it up, twisted it over, kept heating it up, gave it like a nice good warm up, lots of good heat, and then we just held that form after removing the heat until it cooled completely. So lastly on the sled, we have these ceiling hooks all the way down, and what that's for is for strapping our equipment on. To strap our equipment on, what we're going to do is we're going to put down a tarp first, just to kind of keep all the snow off everything, and then we're going to use 550 paracord, lace it up just like a big shoe, tie everything down. So she's probably not the prettiest sled, but she is quite functional, and I really look forward to seeing what this system here with the crack in it and the paracord, how that's all going to hold up. So our harness system is a military issue, I'm not sure what country, pack frame. How it comes is arm straps, waist strap, hardware, straps onto this nice piece of plastic, and then from there we did is tied paracord on, and then attach our carabiner. From that, we can clip our sled onto that. I said that twice, so it must be important. What I like about this is it also has the shoulder straps on it. That makes things a little bit more comfortable. If you are planning on carrying equipment, all the holes in here make it awesome for tying things down. Carry a little bit of extra paracord with you, so if you're collecting firewood along the way, you got something to strap it to. If you want to put your jacket in here, tie it on. If you want to put your water bottle on here, clip it on. This thing has lots of uses, and it just really does come in handy. This video isn't as much as an instruction video as it is about us sharing our experiences and building a Pulk. Really, what we're hoping to do is just give you guys a little bit of insight into building one, and then we're also hoping to get some feedback from you guys on your experiences, as well as if you have any questions about what we've done that we don't mention in the video. You can contact us by emailing us at info@aurorabushcraft.ca, or you can just leave a comment below and we'll get back to you.